Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Mr. Collis Hazel, who is the Assistant Commissioner of TTPS, but this morning he's wearing the cap of coordinator as we speak about the Belmanna Riots. As you are aware, we are in heritage mode, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what is happening on the island. Mr. Hazel, good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, and it is always a delightful moment to be in your company.
Right. Wow, that is, high accolades there, and I accept that very much. And we, of course, also like speaking with you, especially when we're talking about Belmanna Riots. Late last week we were talking about all things heritage and the events happening, and I was telling my colleagues that I can't wait to go to Roxborough because I wanted to go last year. And so we're here again to talk about what's happening this year for the Belmanna Riots, and I know that is something near and dear to your hearts. So let's go through a little bit of the history so that our viewers can understand what we're talking about and why we're so excited about the Belmanna Riots.
Okay, so Tobago Belmanna Riot is an event that will be not stage, but a street theater event that is going to take place on the Heritage calendar on the 28th of July, starting from 10 a.m. in the morning at Roxborough. Of course, the Belmanna Riot, as you are well aware, started as a stage production for some years now in the Roxborough area. However, because of the setting of the whole, the production and the actual production being held in Roxborough, it was always felt that, the production of Belmanna should be held in its natural format, and the best way to do that was with a street theater. So I must give some commendation to Mr. Gilbert O'Connor, whose vision it was to ensure that we put the Belmanna on the streets of Roxborough in a street theater format. And of course, having said that, the people of Roxborough welcome the idea and work feverishly towards ensuring that we put on the Belmanna Festival. This year, the Belmanna is going to be coordinated by and directed by Miss Deanna Riley, who for all the years have been continuously doing this production. And of course, she has the support under the leadership of the Roxborough Police Youth Club, who is producing the show with the Tobago Heritage Festival Commission to ensure that we have a beautiful and fulfilled street theater production in Roxborough. What I should say for those persons who aren't aware of the Belmanna Riot reenactment, the fact that somewhere in May 1st of 1876, the Roxborough was one of the places in which he had one of the largest sugar estate plantation back then. And of course, history was created when on that estate, when rioters broke out on the sugar plantation. These laborers rioted over the treatment that was meted out to them by the plantation owners. And after emancipation, there was a shortage of labor on the estate. So those persons who were freed from Africa were brought predominantly from Barbados to work on the sugar plantation to replenish the labor on the estate. Of course, when they came, what led to them coming was the offer So they were offered proper medical care, better working conditions, and however, that did not happen. And of course, like anyone else, they were not satisfied. They were not satisfied too as a result of the treatment that was meted out to them. There was a system that was called the truck system. The truck system really was one in which they were working for their wages, and despite all of that, whatever they worked for, it was still the control of the white plantation owners who, by way of this truck system, just like a tax, that were responsible for them in terms of they still had to go to purchase everything from the same white plantation owners. So it mimics the idea of the canteen that we operate within even the TTPS and all those other military agencies, where they have the canteen and you go and you purchase from the canteen, but really the canteen is owned by so the truck system is what it was called then. And of course, that did not work well with them, and that agitated the whole idea of revolting against those actions of the white plantation owners. Much so to the displeasure of the workers, which was led by Mary Jane, better known as Tipigi. And Tipigi was the leader of that rioting group out there who, while on the plantation working, would have encouraged the workers in order to riot. And one of the first things that was done was that they were able to burn down the sugar estate, the plant on the estate, the sugar house on the estate. And of course, within that, in terms of the production, you have the situation where, like anything else, you know that they would have been mimicking the white plantation owners. So they learn the jig and sing songs and whatnot and the other in their own language. And all of this is what is going to come out in the production at Roxborough, in terms of the jig, in terms of stick fighting, in terms of all these sort of acts that will take place, the tambu bamboo and stuff like that, which was used in terms of their music in order for to riot, continue their protests as they riot what was taking place on the estate. This led to the whole idea of the arrest of Mary Jane Tipigi, who, of course, was the leader of the riot on the plantation, and she was arrested by one Corporal Belmanna. Corporal Belmanna too was a bad Bajan police officer who was stationed at the Roxborough police station, the very station where it was located, everything on the hill. That Bajan Belmanna was stationed there. And we will be going back to that very former police station where all that action took place. And of course, the rioters, in agitating against arresting Mary Jane, they went to the station and riot and was able to pull out Belmanna out of the station. And in that way, in order to created their level of frustration, because clearly he was carrying out the wishes of the white plantation owners, and of course blaming them for burning down the sugar estate. So from there, they are going to move on to the court, the same Roxborough Magistrate Court, where the case will be tried against the state versus the people of the rioters of Roxborough against Belmanna, who, while the issues were going on, he shot Tipigi. And of course, the revolters got more agitated in terms of what is taking place, and there's going to be a real courthouse scene in the courtyard of Roxborough to reenact that whole situation. It does not end there. At the end, there was some victory, which the judge felt comforted by the evidence that was given in the matter to the Roxborough rioters, and there was a jubilation. So the jubilation took us back onto the plantation in order to celebrate. So from the Great House, we will be going back on the estate in a jubilation mood. And of course, later that evening, it will climax with a concert of community groups coming together in jubilation. It is going to be one of rhythm, steel, and songs on the estate in celebration that we'd have captured Belmanna. And I must say to you that in the morning, before that happens, what we will be doing, for the first time, everyone will get an opportunity to now see the Belmanna, the grave site of where on the estate we have gone there and clean up the area, and we are now going to be laying a tombstone in memory of all those persons who fought in the riot of Belmanna. So we would be laying a tombstone on that site on the estate.
You know, Mr. Hazel, I was listening to the whole rollout of the production there, and I'm wondering what is the feedback in terms of persons participating? Because this is a big production. You're talking about moving through the community of Roxborough. You spoke about so many different sites and areas where you will be hosting parts of the event. In terms of the buy-in, and what is important for me is the fact that young people are also a part of it. Because remember, this is a story that we have to keep telling for generations to come. We don't want it to die with the people who already know. We want this story to continue. So what is the buy-in? What is the integration of the younger persons as in part of the production, and not just a part of the production as in I have my part and these are my lines, but actually knowing the story intimately, so that they can depict it better on during their performances.
And here I have to give credit to Miss Deanna Riley, because she took time with her cast, first of all, as a former teacher, in explaining. She just didn't run into the production. It happened already, but there are new members of cast, and she took time in order to educate all her cast members on the story of Belmanna. So they have a living sense of what it is they are reenacting, and they were well educated about the production so that they know what is to take place. And as you rightly said, it's not just to jump in the production and learn my lines and come there and say the lines. And this is why the street theater action of it is where we're going to start, and we go to the different treks in places so people will get a greater understanding, and the cast members will be able to reenact all those things at various points with a knowledge that they know too what has happened in the production, and that they have a full understanding. I must say that there's a great stage of development in terms of, we have the youngest member of cast between about 8, 7, go right up to persons within the 60s that are participating within the cast. So that generation gap, there's continuity, there's enthusiasm and excitement that people come out wanting to play, to participate. And of course, the village, each all have its part. Roxborough is known for that cultural expression whereby we don't create a second tongue, as we'd always call it, in nothing that we do. So the Roxborough Gems Choir, led by Mr. Well, of course, the representative for the area, Tobago East, Mr. Thomas, they are going to be doing all the songs with their choir, and they have their aspect in bringing the production. We have the Roxborough Police Youth Club Dance Company. They are going to be doing all the dances and everything that deals with that, and of course their steel orchestra. They are going to participate in giving you that aspect. We have members from the community of the group of Roxborough Mise. They will be supporting the cast in terms of, being out there, spectators, rioters, and so forth. We have the Roxborough Tambu Bamboo. They will be coming out in order to lead and carry through, so that it is Roxborough, and it's a combined grouping of all and sundry different churches, different groups, everybody coming out in order to put this production together.
Mr. Hazel, I know that the Belmanna Riots was off the calendar for quite some time. I don't know if you were involved with it last year, but can you just speak to why Roxborough decided to come back to the calendar last year? Because you came back with a bang last year.
Well, I think it's, I give credit to the whole idea of all the years we were absent. It had to do with the whole question of us looking whether this thing really ought to be a stage production or a street theater. And as I said before, I give credit to Mr. Gilbert O'Connor, who always, he would say to me, Collis, I am seeing this thing on the street and we have to go. And, I was much appreciated when, he came up with different aspects, and he and Miss Riley, they put this thing together and put it outside there, and I can see with all assurance, like the rest of Tobago and other persons from Trinidad, the excitement. A lot of people coming to Tobago. This Belmanna is going to be huge, and there's going to be a lot coming forth, and of course we are excited, and we are doing everything in order to ensure that that taste of Roxborough is on the street in Belmanna.
I want to ask you overall in terms of the Tobago Heritage Festival, and you see the pride that you have with the Roxborough, and each community has that level of pride. Do you think that the Tobago Heritage Festival, and you just mentioned people coming from Trinidad, people coming from far and wide to see what we are doing here on the island of Tobago in terms of preserving our heritage, do you think that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing? I know there's always room for improvement, but do you think we are putting enough in terms of investing the finances, the resources, the time, ensuring that the younger generation is educated, not just for one aspect of the heritage, but the overall Heritage Festival? Do you think enough is being done at this stage for us to continue preserving what we call our heritage?
I want to say we are in the right path. When I attended the folk fiesta, and I can honestly see from what I saw in folk fiesta, we are in a good place. The young and upcoming generation that came out and participated. You look at opening night, you look at the cast, you look at the participation of the people that were involved in those productions. And I think that we are in the right place in terms of ensuring that our culture is alive and well. Even as it relates to Belmanna and the involvement of the young ones in participating, in getting the props ready, getting in line and so forth. I think that we are all for it. People want to be a part of it. People want to be able to experience it. So it is not just a jump and party and whatnot on the other. People clearly understand, and we can see growth and development taking place thereafter when we would have moved off the scene, that there's continuity in people, because this has been coordinated by, assisted and directed by very young Aliyah Brooks. Her father came from Curlin Brooks as her grandfather. And of course, so you're seeing continuity where at the end of the day, there are people who understand what we are going to be doing and is outside there doing it very easily, so that I feel that we are in a good place. In terms of the other villages, I can speak for using the folk fiesta as a good place to start. Roxbury Police Youth Club has been participating in Folk Fiesta. We are there producing our own show. We are producing the Belmanna. And of course, look out, we are there with the, we have put out a contestant in the Miss Personality competition. So you can say that there is that community participation coming out, and that is what you want, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, Tobago, Trinidad, wherever you are from, if you are on the island of Tobago, the Tobago Heritage Festival is on with a bang, and Belmanna Riots is taking place on the 28th, and you want to be there. First and foremost, you want to be up front, you want to be on the whole trek, the whole trail, everything that they are doing, you want to be a part of it. You know, Mr. Hazel, just give us the details in terms of the time we're starting. I know you said that there is a viewing of the graveside. So tell us the time we're starting, the route, and how we're looking to culminate.
Okay, so we start from Cameron Canal Road. That's the road to the waterfall. And we are going to be starting there in terms of doing the trek to the different places. So we go first to the graveside, where we will lay the commemorative plaque in honor of all those persons who would have participated in the production, in the riot, and commemorate them. We move from there and we will go to what is called 100 Windows. Standing majestically historically on the site, on the Roxbury estate, is the plantation owner of the estate house. It is called 100 Windows. The house, in terms of its engineering and structure, is still intact. And we are going to be going to visit that site so that people get an idea. Long ago, you didn't have you could not have gone there. You know, that is the plantation great house. And who dare you to go on to reach to the site of the white plantation owner's house? This is an opportunity now where we have that opportunity where you could go and see 100 Windows. We call it, as young boys growing up in Roxbury, 100 Windows, because it has a lot of windows on the house. So we'll visit there. Then we'll go down and look at the Copra House. The Copra House is the house in which the product of the cocoa and coffee and sugarcane and fermentation of the cocoa was done. That building was refurbished, and ensuring that some of the architectural designs are still in place. It is there, and in that Copra House, for the first time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, because the police is very much involved in is a policing issue with the production of Belmanna. So the police service will be bringing its full museum, and they will be in that space. So they will be putting their museum in there so that you will get an idea of the relics of what happened in the old police station at Roxbury. Now, in that museum, I am there to say there is a diary, a station diary, that was saved from Roxbury Police Station. And I saw entries in that diary that is intact. In those days, there weren't any crime of such. So you would have seen offenses where somebody was arrested for a bicycle offense. You know, a long time, you old young people may not know, but we had bicycles, and there was someone who was, a bicycle was impounded. I saw entries where the owner, the Inland Revenue, those days had messengers, and basically the station was utilized in order just to store keys for government property. So you would see entries where the messenger came at so and so time to collect the keys for Inland Revenue, and where they went back in order to bring back the keys and stuff like that. Those was mostly of some of the entries that you would see in that old station diary, but it be a lot of relevance to us. As well as we move off from there, and we are going to take you now to what is called the Truck House. The Truck House is the refurbished area on the estate that once used to be used for the preservatives of fruits and the industrial cottage, as you would have called it. So the Truck House is going to use just what it is being intended for. All the sales of the product on that day would be sold there. So you can come to the Truck House and, of course, relish the cuisines of Creole food from that was taking place at time then. So we will be cooking, we will be baking, we'll be having all the foods and eats and drinks at the Truck House. But I want to warn all you, this is where you will have a taste of no long sauce.
All right.
Okay.
No long sauce.
All right.
Roxborough we talking about. So we coming out, and we will be ensuring well attired in order to give you the cuisine. Roxborough is famous for food. So come out. Heritage cannot operate without our culinary delights. You can't have that there for the entire day in the truck stop. And then
Mr. Hazel, you know, I feel as if I'm already in Roxborough with all of this whole, you know, this whole description and all the things that are going to be taking place in Roxborough. And I wish we could have stayed whole morning to talk about this. As I said, since last year I wanted to come and I was unable to, and I'm hoping that this year we could carry our crew up the road to Roxborough come the 28th. Come one, come all, and be a part of what is happening on the island of Tobago. If you're not aware of what the Belmanna Riots is, now is your time to do your research. And if you don't have time to do the research, come on up to the east on the 28th of July from 10 a.m. In fact, you could come earlier because you don't want to miss a beat and be a part of what is taking place up there with the Roxborough Belmanna Riots. Mr. Hazel, thank you so much for coming in studio this morning and giving us all that, you know, juicy details as to what we can expect when we get there. And we do hope to see you come the 28th of July.
Thank you very much, and I must say it before I go, I want to really expressively thank the business community, because they are really playing a tremendous role in supporting us in everything we do. We talk about the Marconi's Home Depot, Waterhole Bar, Windward Meat Shop, Hercules General Surprise, Coors, Tops Echo Mart, Must Be Molly, Archie Mini Grocery, Sweet Haven. All these are people from the community who set up their own business and is providing some level of support to the production and to ensure that we stay alive in terms of that. Of course, thanks to the Tobago Festivals Commission, and I must not forget the members from the Division of Infrastructure and Quarries who are helping us in doing everything on the URP program. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll have to take a short break, and when we come back, we will talk to Mr. Reginald of the THTA concerning Tobago being open for SOE. So do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.